All right. Hey, Bistro fans, Jill here. Today I have a special guest with me. This is Capri from Omas Pride, and she is currently the president of Omas Pride. And yeah, I just thought it would be really fun. We have a couple of things happening with Omas this week. We have obviously the free gift with um, our folks that buy dog product. And then Omas has been, I mean, you guys were the first, like my first brand that I ever carried.
I know.
So
20 years. 20 years in the raw food business.
That's awesome. And I've been with you guys. I think my first order was either like late 2004 or early 2005, maybe, or I inquired in 2004 and ordered in 2005. So, and then that's kind
really
of
really right at the beginning.
Yeah, and then it's just grown from there to what our business is now. So I'm so glad you can join us. So if you could just give us kind of a quick rundown, your role in the company. I know Omas is multi-generationally owned, so where you stand in that, and awesome to be able to support a family business from our end as well.
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, it's an honor to be here. And as a family business, we're the fourth generation family business. I'm a third generation president. My grandparents got the company started in about 1950. Wow. And unfortunately, they both passed away fairly young in their 60s. And my mom and aunt ran with the business at that point. That was prior to being in the pet food business. We're in the food distribution business. Mm-hmm. So we've got roots back to the 50s and, chickens and eggs and turkeys and all that. We had a family farm. So it was in the 80s, my mom became our next president, and she really worked so hard along with my aunt all those years to continue to maintain the business. And a couple of years ago, my mom retired. So I was fortunate to take that role and really see what I can do to bridge this to the next generation. So that's really what it is. And I'm fortunate we have 4 sons. And I have some cousins that are also in the business. So I have to say there's about 4 or 5 of us now in the business, which is nice to say.
That's fantastic. And so you started with pet food about 20 years ago. What was the inspiration for the pet food portion?
So I actually just did a podcast with my mom this morning. My youngest son, who's 22, home from college, unexpectedly, he helped us with that. So we were just talking about, what inspired it. And so what happened was at a time when she was raising her family pet, mm-hmm. and she was seeing her dog Harley had all these hot spots, all these health issues. And she honestly said, I said, what inspired it, Mom, though? Like, where did it start? And she said she was driving into work one day and she literally saw this wolf. And I said, are you sure it wasn't a fox? She said, no, it was a wolf. So she said that it was eating this raccoon on the side of the road. And she said it really just clicked in her mind because she remembered having a pet, that her dog Honey had lived for 19 years, I think. And she said all it ate was out of the chicken coop and all this scraps and all this food. And it didn't really make sense to her what was happening to her dogs, like her family dogs. Mm-hmm. So she did some more research and she studied, and we knew the business because we were in the food business. So growing up like on this farm and then having turkeys and then being a master food distributor throughout New England, we had all this knowledge, but where did all that tie in? So yeah. She has a great story about it, but and there's a little bit more to it. But essentially what she did was she just studied really the raw feeding of wolves and foxes and all of that, and determined that she was willing to give it a try for her own dog. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really a business plan necessarily. It was just like she had a sick dog and she found a way to heal her dog. And in 3 months, the dog was doing a flyball class, and she said there's something to this, this isn't just a random occurrence. So she fed her other dogs, and by then she had a couple other dogs, and she really believed in it. And so because we had these grinders in the plant, I mean, it sounds kind of silly, but that's how it really got started. So we had these grinders in the plant. Her husband, my stepdad, Dave, he sat on the bucket, as she says, with another guy that had helped him out. And they created this food They just would take the vegetables that we had and chicken or turkey and the vegetables, and then she discovered there's a lot more to it, right?
Right.
So there's about nutrition and what goes with it, and how to really create a great recipe and what type of vegetables to use. So it was really out of the love for her dog that it was created, but with the belief that this is how animals, dogs and cats are really meant to be fed from the wild. And that's really what
food is medicine. So we know that when you eat right, we all feel better too.
Absolutely. I mean, we know that, right? But it's sometimes hard to put those two and two together.
Yeah.
But I really believe that she, her heart was in the right place, knowing that this was, and she just put it all together. I always say she's on a different plane. She is, and she's very, very creative. And so having this base of this food distribution company and all the sources that we had coming from all these great places, we were able to take that and then create this food that we were able to get out to others.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It must have been like a lightning bolt when she saw that wolf.
Oh yeah, then she doesn't let go.
Yeah.
I know that's what she said, because that was what it's so funny that we're doing this today, because that was what the podcast was all about.
Oh, good timing.
What was that moment? There's got to be a moment, right?
Right.
Like
right.
What inspires us to do something?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What a great story. I didn't know a lot of that. I mean, I knew some of the recipe making portion and things like that. I didn't know really where that stemmed from. So that's great. That's fantastic.
I know, I love it. And it's a real genuine story about how a family business also evolved. So sure. I think when we're talking about these times, and there's so many changes, right? We all know we're in this unprecedented time, right? Where we don't know it, and none of us really know how this is looking for our future, but we do know that we can be creative and innovative and find ways, and it just goes to show you, because that's what happened with the business. We really ended up as a family business focusing on our pet food and really working with that, and knowing that that was such a great opportunity, not just as a family business, but to really be able to help other people. And that's kind of the premise of it as well, and really help these animals to get healthier.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how do you feel, or what is it that makes Oma's Pride pet food different and awesome? Or what was, does she have some philosophies behind it that is maybe part of the Oma's Pride promise and what you guys deliver for pet food?
Yeah, I think one of the things that she really believed from the beginning was that it starts with the raw materials, right? Starts with our ingredients. And because we had this connection and we had this USDA inspected plant, and that was where products that they were coming in as human grade quality food. Yeah. And I think that makes a big difference, because it really is what you put into it, right? So there's no additives. There was never, ever any other product other than the meat or the bone and the vegetables. And it's really just the whole meaty bones. And she does have a philosophy on the feeding, which also I think sets it apart, because we have a full line of products. Right. So a lot of times, companies may focus on certain things and that's very good, right? So you'll go to them for a specific item, but having the opportunity to have a full line of all proteins and all different kinds of things with the raw meaty bones. We have the, chicken necks and turkey necks and duck necks and all kinds of different options and different and product lines. She was one of the first out there with the treats for the pets that are freeze-dried treats. So I think it sets it apart, number one, that we've been in this business for a really long time. We have a long history in the food business and in premium products. So it was always a very premium item, and there was never a compromise on quality. There's no compromise. Even now in these times, we hunt things down, because it's, these are times where it might be a little more difficult than others to get the product that goes into our mixes. And we've also stayed very true to what we do. If you think about it, we do add items to our lineup, but it really is after a very long thought out process. Is this really necessary? We take more, and we're trying to be proactive in terms of being, with the patties and those sort of things, to just make it a more user-friendly experience, I would say,
Right.
for people that, right, because it does come in blocks, and it's not always easy in terms of how people want to feed, right? Because we do have these blocks of product, and they're 2 pounds and 5 pounds in different sizes. But it sets us apart in ways that we also have packaging is what you see is what you get. You're always going to be able to see what's inside the package, which, and people have asked us over time, don't you want to get any fancier packaging, or isn't there something, you might want to do? No. And the reason is because we always put, number one, we do put all of this that we have and into our products and not our packaging. The packaging speaks for itself. We just wanted it to be easier. My mom was talking about that this morning, how she just wanted it easier to stack in the freezer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something to be said about that, especially I would say for like our bulk feeders who buy several cases at a time and need to stock their freezer. We've all dealt with the packages or the rolls, and yes, I would say definitely the Omas Pride are easy to use and stack and see what the product is, grab it out of the freezer in rotation if you're doing something like that. So I would.
Yeah, that means a lot to us. We do that with the treats as well. It's just a very clear packaging, and that's what we believe in. It's really in the materials. We want the product inside to be the best possible product.
Right. That's fantastic. And I would even, from my perspective of being in the retail environment and helping people with nutrition consults and diets and things like that, is the one thing that I've always appreciated about Omas is its simplicity. There isn't a vitamin and mineral pack, so that is up to you. And if you have a dog or a cat with X, Y, and Z allergies, you can narrow it down very specifically to what you need to add and not what you guys add. It's then put on to us to figure it out, that simplicity portion of it. It's just
Jill, you're awesome like that, though. You and your crew, really. I mean, honestly, just knowing what I know, right? You're very educated, and that's one of the things about raw feeding that is something that's super important. You have to go to who you trust. We trust you with our product, and we know that you best educate everyone, hopefully, that's listening, right? You want to be able to have a great resource, and we're always there for you also. We have a group in our office that Jan and Michelle and, we've got our crew, and you can always reach out. We want to be there for you also for questions.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely, I would say, what, in our freezer that we carry 15 plus brands, that's one of the things that we love about Omas is the simplicity of it, though, and how you can tailor that, or you can change proteins easily, and you're still getting something very simplified. You can add raw meaty bones to it. It's great for those people that have multi-pet households or lots of large breed dogs. And I mean, that's really where it came from when I started. Was we were in Greyhound rescue and we were feeding 12 pounds of meat a day. Well, you need to have
that's a lot of dog.
Yeah, right.
That's what I say. My mother has 2 Leon burgers. Like these huge dogs. Yeah, that's a lot of dogs.
Yeah, and we have a couple customers with Leos as well. So, you need to be able to help those people out as well, that need the larger amounts. So that's something that Omas has always allowed us to do, which has been fantastic. So,
and thank you.
What is your favorite product in the lineup?
So it's funny that we're talking about these specific proteins, because I honestly have to say we have one complete product, right? One complete, which is Woof.
Yeah.
But what I like about Woof is that when people aren't familiar, right, with raw, and they want to enter into this raw feeding world, right, which is maybe a little bit different. Maybe they don't know exactly how to do that in terms of the rotating, and that's where you come in the education side. What happened with me was that I rescued a Shih Tzu. So I had this Shih Tzu. She was 12,
Wow.
And so I rescued this dog at 12. She like literally somebody just handed it to me. I'm like, of course, I brought it home and of course got a rescue dog. So I have this dog and I'm like, at the time I wasn't even with the family business. I entered back into the family business and I'm like, geez, I want to feed this dog the best possible way. Of course, so we have this Woof. And Woof is great because it enters you in, I say it's kind of like a thaw scoop feed. It also comes in a freeze-dried option.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that product because it can be used for anyone, unless you have a chicken allergy, unless there's an allergy to poultry. But we are going to be coming out with other completes, just because there are some people, right, that believe that we want you to use all of the different items and have these individual proteins, but not everyone can do that. So it's really an inclusive product, I feel like. But it's interesting. And then of course I have some favorites with the treats. I have the treats I love. We have a heart medley mix. So that's my favorite.
That is a fan favorite around here. All the hearts, I would say. Fan faves. Even for the kitties, our one Bengal cat, Kayanga, who's typically at the store with us, she's like a hound dog on the turkey hearts. We had
those turkey hearts are just incredible.
My goodness, she finds them, and if you guys send us a sample bag or something, we'll find her in the back room. She's got the bag upside down with all the samples in the hallway.
I know, it's great. We get all kinds of videos. People send in pictures and videos, and it's great.
We get her message very clearly when she got some turkey hearts.
She wants the turkey hearts.
Yeah. So, and real quick here, I'm also going to show, we were just talking about this. I'm going to actually show the feeding calculator that you guys provide. I think this is actually really helpful for maybe folks that are newer to raw feeding. We actually utilize your calculator that you guys have online as well. So this is under the omaspride.com website. And if any of our customers are new to feeding raw or don't know how much to feed based on your dog's weight, so there is a little bit of calculation figuring out the different life stages as well, whether you have a puppy, a kitten, an adult pet, or a senior. And then also some of your goals, some of our working dogs need more calories just because they obviously are out in the field working and doing things. So the feeding calculator is a great place for anybody to start or always reference to, as even if you get a puppy and as your dog gets older, you may need to go back and recalculate and figure out ounces and quantity. But I think this is a very valuable resource that a lot of people can go and use. It's super easy to fill it out. I know you said it was kind of a labor of love.
That's what I say. It really was a labor of love. And it took, we actually got a lot of input from a lot of different people to see what they really needed to make it as useful as possible with being user friendly. Right. And that's not always easy, but it does give you a really good baseline.
Sure.
Of and gives you some good information on there. It really is pretty user friendly.
Yeah, which is awesome because there's not very many feeding calculators out there, or trying to figure out how to do the math and put all those together. So people, it can take some time to wrap your brain around all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bulk style. So I think that's something that's very valuable for anybody who's new to raw or starting to feed raw and is trying to figure out how much they need, or if you have multiple dogs and you have to buy a freezer. I mean, sometimes there's other things that go with it to make it all happen. So I think that can be really helpful. So
good. I'm glad to hear that's a useful piece.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So our next question here for you is, are you guys seeing any trends in raw feeding? And if you are, what are those? I would say, right off the bat, what I could say is obviously raw feeding has grown dramatically even since I was introduced to raw feeding prior to starting my business and working with Omas Pride. Back 15 years ago, many people hadn't heard of raw feeding, or Omas Pride is kind of a pioneer with a few other companies in the scene of raw feeding. But have you seen any trends on your end that is happening?
Well, I think you're right. I think the trend is honestly more toward raw. So what some of the things we're seeing in terms of that, so once you get beyond the fact that raw feeding is becoming much more mainstream, right?
Mhm. Right.
And we know that people are spending more time getting educated
Right.
online. So you want to get good information, right?
Absolutely.
You go to sites with good information. You go to you that has direct information on nutrition and all of that. I would say that what we're seeing is people are asking more questions, which is great,
Yeah.
which is great. In terms of the specific to raw, I think that people are looking to be sure that they're getting the best quality, right? That's always sourcing is always important.
Right.
And also just technology, people want to have that information readily available. But trends in terms of food, we've been really very clear that we want to be the best at sourcing each new protein, right? So I wouldn't say there's any trends necessarily that we don't tend to follow that path.
Okay.
In terms of like the trend side,
Yeah.
but CBD and all that kind of stuff, we've had so many questions about that, and right, we just believe in this natural piece. So if in terms of allergies, for instance, those do seem to come up more frequently.
Yes. Yes, way more than
Right?
15 years
That's a
ago.
trend
Absolutely.
that's happening on the health side. And so we
Absolutely.
respond to that with certain exotics. Like there's certain exotics can be very helpful for certain things. So we have a lot of like specific requests. And if we have requests and if anyone has anything that they're looking for, we're a small family business. We're really able to respond to that. So right? So that's the nice part about being small. A small family business is able to make some decisions pretty quickly. And if there's things that you're in need of and you think that we should be taking a look at, we love to hear feedback.
Yeah.
That's what we're about. We want to hear what you have to say, not so much what we have to say, because it's what you guys have to say that are going to help us to get you what you need. Right? Like as the manufacturer, as the people that get that information out to you, that product, we know we get a lot of great ideas from all of you. I remember our bulk pack of treats literally came just because somebody called in. We used to have, it's standard, like 3 and 4 ounce treats. That's how they come. Somebody called in and said, well, can't you just do a larger, bigger bag? Sure. Right? So that's what I like about it. So if there's anything that you all have that you want to share with us, happy to hear it.
Perfect.
And but the allergies, I would say, if I had to pick something to really focus on trending wise, you hear more of that. We get more calls, more requests, and that sort of thing. So that's what raw feeding is great. You can respond to that. There's certain proteins that are helpful to certain things. And Jill, you're an expert. You're amazing with this.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree with you. That has exponentially increased over the last 15 years. I mean, it used to be every, here and there, we would hear of a poultry allergy, and now it's becoming a lot more commonplace.
More common. Well, I think of it the same way I think about our human food, right? And how we eat. If you think about it that way and you care for your pet that way, you're going to feed your pet the same, right? When people say, like, how do I do that? Well, we eat different proteins every day. We kind of want them to do the same, right? It's almost sounds very logical once you talk about it, but once you think about it and you're like, okay, I want to be able to give my pet all those things. We joke about the turkey dinner and all those things, but you want to provide them with that same level of nutrition and all of the options.
Yeah, absolutely. So out of curiosity, how many employees do you guys have since you are small family owned?
So, we have we're in the 30s.
Okay.
So it's still it's relatively small. And not all of them are full time, but we have a great group. We also do employ a second chance employees, which we've always felt really good about, and we're able to help them get back into back into the workforce for a variety of reasons that they have. and it's a great opportunity for them. We always believe in the giving back piece to the community, and so that's important to us. We always work with the local, local agencies or ways to do that. And I think that it's great to have family. We have the family in the business. We've got a couple of locations now, so we actually outgrew our original space.
Okay.
And so we were able to create a new space nearby. And so that was exciting. Yeah. And just to employ new people and keep people working, I know it just happens to be at this COVID time that we happen to be doing this, but let's face it. I mean, that's a really, I feel so grateful that, and I try to give this gratitude moment as often as I can, right? We try to think about that because right now we have the ability to still do what we're doing and still serve all of you, which is the most important thing, because we all need to be nourished, right? So we nourish through a whole host of ways, and one of them is through health and wellness. And we believe in our food, and we know that it's been so helpful to so many pets. And my mom, I mean, just by talking to her this morning, I mean, she, although she's retired, she is just really still passionate about sharing her story and all of that. And so we're grateful to be able to continue the legacy as well.
Right.
And share Omas Pride with more and more people and their pets.
That's fantastic. And even through COVID, you guys have full production right now. So, right.
We do. So we're so fortunate. We are so fortunate, and being in Connecticut, it's a state that does have a fair amount of COVID. We're near New York City, and it is challenging, but we have so many safety precautions in place. My son joined us this past year, and he's heading up our operations, and it's such a priority to us. Our employees' safety and their health and wellness of their families also. So we do insist on all those things that they're requesting of us, and things even beyond. So we have all of that. We're very careful to be sure that they're well protected, and then all of your product is well protected also. So that's been super important, and we're working remotely for the first time. We've always been very hands-on business, and family businesses down the road, but our entire sales team and all of our customer service and some of finance and all of that is all working outside in this remote way. And that's also kind of been a mixed blessing, and it's in and of itself, because we didn't think it was possible, and now you do, And so I'm like, this is, it has given them some more time with their family also. So it's a unique, I think these times are unique, but to be able to continue to keep people working and continue to provide our products to you so you can do the same and get all those pets the products they deserve. I think that honestly, we have to say we're very thankful.
Yeah, no, and we're thankful that you guys are still operating. We had our biggest order, I think, ever at once last month. We had 3 pallets, which was, I think, just over 6,000 pounds, and we had a lot of customers that needed to fill their freezers, and we're very thankful that you guys were still operational. So that was awesome.
Yeah, we just had a meeting just recently on purchasing, and that's the number one thing, right? Getting the product in so we can make it for you. Right. And we want to be sure we continue to do that. So we're working very hard. I have to say, they're working really hard to make sure all that happens.
Well, it's very, very much appreciated, of course.
Well, and thank you. Thank you. I do have a little secret I want to share.
Oh boy.
So I talk about our family business and what the family business means to me, and having all of my sons in the business is great, and cousins. So my son, Nick, joined a few years ago on the marketing side.
Yeah.
And he has had a desire and a belief that we do need to do what I call a refresh of our brand.
Sure.
Because Oma, my grandmother, is actually she's the photo on the label, right?
Right.
But we found it to be very hard to be able to share that logo and have others be able to utilize it because it was done literally 20 years ago. And right. And so we do have a refresh of our brand coming out, and you're going to see it. It's really great. It's able to be. It really updates it in a way that speaks to who we are, and also allows, like I say, this next generation to create a feel for this product. It's just such a clean label. And that's what was really important to Nick, right? Not only can you visibly see it, right? But when you see it, you have such a nice feel about the farm and who we are. And it says right on there that, we started our family business in 1950. So we're proud of that. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. No,
so it'll be fun. You'll be seeing it on the packages soon enough.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it goes along with what you guys already speak about with your packages being pretty clean and modern and simple, and that sounds like it goes right along with what you guys have going on. So that's exciting.
I always said we're like ahead of the times. Prior to it's always been a very simple, clean recipe, clean packaging, all of that. So we want to put put that, in front of you in a way that really resonates with who and what we are. So I'm really proud of that. And as you can see, I'm proud of my kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my family, all the whole family is involved. So
of course. So I know you mentioned real quick, that you were going to have some other completes coming out in different protein profiles. Did you guys have any other products coming out that you guys have in the works? Anything new?
Products. I will say that there's nothing new. What we're trying to do is find what we have. We have a very extensive product line. Mm-hmm. I don't know that there's a product that honestly I can think of a protein that we don't have. It's just how to best use it. So how could you best use it? So for instance, somebody had just asked us recently if we could do some of our products with bone and meat and organ meat, and maybe not the vegetable. So we respond that way. That's really what we're doing, is trying to make sure that what we have to offer is exactly what you guys need and want.
Sure.
Right?
And it makes sense.
Makes sense. And we do have we do need to get those completed so that people that want to get started in raw or just feel more comfortable, right? Feeding those complete products, because that's the entry in. I really do. I really believe that. Yeah. And I believe it's a great entry in. So, but I do want to emphasize that anything that you have to share, we're super open to hearing that. And anything that we can source that we can, that is going to be helpful to you, especially with this allergies and all of that goes on, we're here for you.
Cool. And then just so our customers know as well, so we carry all of the mixes. So all 4 flavors, there's chicken, turkey, lamb, and beef. And those are the meat, bone, and veggie, which follows an 80-10-10. Maybe we can speak about that here for a quick second. And then we also carry single, some of the just meat and bone grinds. We carry treats, a lot of different varieties in both the 4-ounce and 16-ounce treat packets, which a lot of people love the bulk bags. So whoever knows, way to go, especially multi-pet households or people that are traveling or doing scent work and things like that just need a quick, large grab bag to go with. Yeah. And then we also carry 3 of the supplements. So we in different sizes as well. So we do have
the supplements. We don't talk about all that often, I have to say. You do a very good job with that. I mean, the digestive performance is a really important product, and I think you could really speak to this, but digestive is important because it helps to absorb those nutrients from raw.
Correct. Well, and 80% of our immune system's in our gut, and unfortunately, in our environment, our gut is lacking usually because of our external
Absolutely.
environment that we
Yeah.
can't control. So the one thing that we can control is supporting our body and its health in its entirety and the immune system. So yeah, that and the fundamental vitality has always been a great one to complete meals for
Yep.
dogs that don't have a lot of
Exactly.
problems, which has the performance mixed into it. So it is an all around supplement.
Yeah, joint mobility as well. You know, that joint mobility, people really feel that it makes such a difference, especially to the older dogs.
Oh my goodness, I've seen amazing things happen with mobility.
Yeah, we have some great stories about that. Those are all things that can be helpful. In addition, you know, we focus a lot on the raw food, and of course we have the treats and the supplements and all that. But the primary mixes are really, you know, meat, bone, organ meat, vegetables, and they were all carefully selected to make sure that these are the items that are going to best serve you, you know, you and your pet.
Of course. So back to the mixes real quick. Could you tell our customers what 80-10-10 means and how, because I think a lot of people discover that verbiage when they are looking into a raw diet or they're reading up online, but maybe don't really understand what that means when you get a blend. And you know, I find that people come in and they use that terminology, but they still don't really know what it is. So
right. I mean,
a lot of discussions here.
You know, it's funny. It's like how the recipe is made, right? When you think about making your own recipes at home, whether it's for your own meals or for your pet, however you mix it up, it's just that it's super important to have that protein, right? That's the protein and the bone, very important, right? So the whole protein, the bone, so the meat and the bone essentially, and then you have the organ meat, and the organ meat is also a very important component to these mixes. Right, to make them a full meal, and then the vegetables as well. So that's the 10%. So the 10% and the 10%, of course, the 80 makes up the bulk of the item, which is primarily, you know, the meat and the bone.
Right. Good.
So I think, yeah, I mean, we all need to take time, all of us, to educate ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And learning more about all of these different options. There's so many options out there. All I say is that take the time, do your fact checks, and make sure that you feel comfortable with what you're feeding. I always say, you know, it's not just about our food; it's just about raw food in general, right? I mean, we hope you use our food, and we appreciate that you do, but we want you to really feel good about where you're getting that and who you're getting educated from. Take the time. And Jill, you and your crew are amazing. I remember going out to your store.
Yeah,
a few years ago now.
Yeah. So this is actually kind of something fun. Just recently,
let's hear
it. With COVID, we laid off our sales team, but they're all very eager and still willing and ready to come back and work. And we're looking for things to fill their time. And Dogs Naturally magazine actually did their raw food certification as a free it was free for I think like a 3-week time span. And my entire team actually did the certification through Dogs Naturally on raw food feeding. So we have really an entire team of raw food certified specialists here ready to help people. So when we get back to in-store shopping and people have questions, we have a whole team ready to go that's ready and willing to talk about raw food and the benefits and why everybody should incorporate raw in some way, shape, or form if their dog can tolerate it, or cat. Cats. We always say dogs, but the cats totally.
It's true, the cats totally. Yeah, we do
benefit from a raw diet as well.
Products for cats as well.
Yeah, we do. Really awesome stuff that we have planned and ready for when our shoppers come back. But I'm so glad that you could join us today. We do have, I'm just going to flip through here. We have a couple comments, a couple of our top fans here. Gary says hi. Gary has used Omas in the past. He has in his photo you can see Enno. Enno is a German Shepherd that he does Schutzhund work with. And then Jessica, you can see also her photo has her poodle. she says that they love the beef and turkey mix, so she uses a lot of the Omas products as well. Jessica, funny enough, Jessica has actually been a customer since out of our house and in our basement. So
wow,
we still have a handful of our customers who are still shopping with us today, who have
that's like you've been with us.
Yeah, right? Have been around many, many years. So that's really exciting that we still have a customers and support system like that we can help them out. So
well, we're all in this together, right? Whether it's the raw food, whether it's COVID, we're all here just to help each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and also for our customers, one last announcement as well. So we do a bulk buying program for raw feeders. So we understand that there is cost that goes with that, and especially when you're feeding a multi-pet household or lots of large breed dogs, like we did when we had the Greyhound rescue. We also have a couple customers that have large breed puppies like Akane Corsos and Shepherds and Leos and things like that. The bulk obviously can help go a long way. So we do a monthly bulk program. So as customers, if you are interested in joining that email list, you just need to give us a call here at the store. We can I'll put the phone number up here for you guys. If you give us a call, we will make sure that we get you added onto the bulk list. So it's a once a month restock, and it's a minimum of 3 cases. So you can mix and match with different companies. I think we have like 11 or 12 companies that participate in the raw bulk program that we've put together on our end. So it's not something that is like an Omas Pride initiative, but it's something that the Pet Beastro has put together to try and help out you at home that have a lot of dogs or a lot of cats like we do. Believe it or not, I mean, people would be surprised. We actually go through, so we have 5 cats. We were at 6, we're at 5 now. We go through upwards of like 2 pounds of food a day just with our cats.
Yeah, that's a lot of food.
It is a lot of food, right? And then I have my Savannah, my F2 Savannah and my F1 Bengal actually both eat whole raw meaty bones. So they eat whole chicken necks.
It's incredible.
I have other cats that are interested.
I don't know that anyone would really know that about cat, like just the general, raw feeder even may not realize that you can do that.
Yeah, no, of course. And I mean, I do have one of my kittens is, well, he's not a kitten, he's like 6, but I got him as a kitten. He had a lot of digestive system issues. Hasn't had any since he's been with me and on raw fully. But he's interested in a chicken neck, but it's like he doesn't have the jaw strength. Like he licks it and then he's like, yeah, that's a lot of work. Sorry.
That's a lot of work. Right? We do have them ground.
Yes, so you can buy ground chicken neck, which we carry here at the store as well as a 2-pound package. But my Bengal and my Savannah, who are more wild, I mean, they're closer to their ancestors and other cats in my house. It's almost like they crave that. They're always looking for things to chew on. They're always chewing on cardboard boxes and silver vine sticks, and they're looking for that like crunch and that chew. So they do really well with the chicken necks. So we take home a 5-pound package of the raw meaty bones, the chicken necks, and thaw them and then refreeze them into smaller portions. So, every couple
also just that dental piece. We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah.
I think one of those things to really consider is the dental. Yes. Because their mouth stays so healthy in their teeth and there's less plaque and all of that. Completely. I mean, that's what's really important about that.
Completely. And kitties are notorious. Kitties and small dogs are notorious for having, they just don't have the right enzymes in there. So they always have like the plaque buildup and smelly breath and things like that. But cats. So we do bulk cat items as well for our bulk buying program. So if there's multi-cat households, we can definitely help you out on those things as well. So awesome. Anything else that you think we missed today, Capri?
I think we covered it.
All right.
I have to say, I think we covered it, but good Jill.
Now.
Jill and crew, you guys are great out there. I can't wait to get out there one day.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you.
I need another visit out there to see you.
Yeah.
So listen, everyone out there, please stay safe. We know that you have a lot. Everyone in this country we're highly concerned about what's happening, but we're all here for each other. And as a small business, we really want to continue to do what we can to get you everything you need and deserve. So we're working very hard to make sure that happens. And Jill, honestly, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking me to be on today, and just to be able to share some of our story and what it means to us to have you guys out there supporting us as well, and our what we believe are honestly our amazing products. So thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.